The International Association for Near-Death Studies presents NDE Radio, a weekly exploration of near-death experiences and similar encounters with the other side. Now, here's your host, Lee Witting.
Welcome to NDE Radio, brought to you by IANDS, the International Association for Near-Death Studies. I'm your host, Lee Witting. Today's guest, Chris Batts, tried to kill himself 5 years ago at the age of 24 by throwing himself out of a moving car. In the process, he had a near-death experience that changed his life. Chris writes about himself, "I grew up without a mom and dad and was in the system since I was 6 months old. My family that I did know was Christian and believed no other religion was right. I had many questions about who God really was. I was very suicidal and wanted to kill myself ever since I was in the 6th grade. Years later, I had a near-death experience at the age of 24. I tried to kill myself by jumping out of a moving car, and after that happened, I heard from God and met my guardian angels. My main message is for people who feel suicidal, and that message is, you are loved." Chris, welcome to NDE Radio.
Thank you.
It's good to hear your voice. Chris, tell us a little about the system and your life growing up.
I was in the system since I was about, 6 months old, because what ended up happening is my mom threw me in a dumpster at 6 months, and she lost me to a court judge. And what ended up happening was I started staying with my grandma, then she got sick. Then I had moved from my grandma to go stay with my other aunt that's where I was started to be in the system, is when I was with her. And, I was just really suicidal for a long time because of the situation that I was in. The house that I was in was horrible. The people there they treated me horrible, and they got this check every month to take care of me, which I never seen it. They always gave it to their kid. And they would always tell me, discouraging things like, "You're so fat, you're so ugly, you're going to be like your mom," which they know I didn't know, and a lot of years of that just led me to being very depressed and suicidal. And At the same time, with my mom, whenever I would talk to her occasionally, she never had anything good to say either. All she would tell me is, "I wish I would have aborted you."
Wow.
Yeah.
So I can see why you were so depressed. What was school like? Did you have any friends at school?
Okay, well, in elementary, not exactly, because when you're a kid, you do kid things, and that's how I was. So the thing was, I would always get in trouble for talking in class because I had ADHD, and I would always get in trouble for talking in class, and I couldn't control it. So then I get home and just get beat really bad for talking in class when they knew I couldn't control it. When my family knew I couldn't control this. At school, I didn't really start getting popular till I guess maybe 9th to 8th grade or something like that. But before then, I was always getting in fights at school and always depressed and always wondered, what it would be like to have my mom and dad too, or just a family period, like other people at school would, like people's aunts and uncles, they would encourage them and all that stuff. And I say, man, I wish I had a family that actually hugged me and told me I can do it.
Now, you said the family that you did know of was Christian. Did you get any Christian education, Sunday school or anything like that?
Oh, man, every Monday, every Sunday, every Wednesday, every Saturday, we were always in church. And, or if not in church, doing Bible studies, or if not going to Sunday school, it was always something involved with church, which always made me confused about religion, because the people that I was living with, you don't treat a little child like this, and you're Christian, you know what I mean? They were horrible to me. They always beat me for no reason. And then I would stay in my room, and they would never buy me toys when I was a young kid. So I would always play with my colored pencils and stuff like that, because I didn't have any toys.
Now, what did you think about all this? Well, let me ask you first. What kind of church was it? Was it evangelical or was it Catholic?
Baptist Christian.
Baptist. And did you find any comfort in that, or was it just kind of stressful?
To be honest with you, I hated it. It confused me because, like I said, I had my own impression of what religion was because of the people I lived with, and then at the same time, the churches that we would go to, the people there at these churches were just like them. So I'm like, how can somebody be Christian, but yet they hurt people on purpose, or they lie on you, they talk about you on the phone, they do all this stuff they're not supposed to do intentionally, but yet they still go to church and say, okay, well, God is good.
Have you met other people who grew up the way you did? I mean, in foster care or, going through that kind of stress?
I know a few foster kids. I had a few friends that were in the system as a kid, and they would tell me that their foster parents would buy them clothes. They would, even though they weren't so nice a lot of the times, because a lot of the foster parents only want money, but they said even they would get new clothes and shoes, and they would actually eat a lot of the times, and a lot of times I would go to bed hungry. There's times that I had holy clothes, never had jackets in the winter time. That's how it was. They told me that I don't deserve new clothes.
So, but did you have foster brothers and sisters who were?
I had cousins that lived there, and because I was with my aunt and uncle, okay, and the only people, there were five of us actually, and the only one that stayed until they were 18 was their son that they had together, but the other kids were just their kids from separate relationships, and then they had me, just the outsider, the complete outsider.
So they treated those kids differently from the way they treated you?
No, they treated their kid differently than they did all of us. All of us had it bad except for their child. Their child was the spoiled one. Their child is the one they spent the money that they got from me, they spent it on him. So he had the $120 shoes and all the clothes and jackets.
Oh, my gosh.
I didn't have anything at all.
Wow.
I would get his old hand-me-down clothes, the ones with the holes in them. They say I didn't deserve to get new clothes.
Now, you did hear from your biological mom from time to time, but she never wanted to be your mother, huh?
No, she told me when I was 5 years old. I asked her, why did you throw me in a dumpster? And she said, I didn't want you at the time. That's why. And she said, I still don't, and you're not my son. Do not call me your mom.
Wow. But then when you tried to kill yourself later on, you were talking to her on the phone, weren't you? Right.
And somehow she got my number, and it's been about 5-6 years since I had talked to her. That day, I mean. And so I figured, okay, well, maybe she wants to apologize or something, right? Wrong. I was so wrong. She said, I just called to tell, I got your number from your grandma. I called to tell you that you're not my son, and I wish I never had you. Don't you ever call me your mom. If you have kids, don't claim me as your grandparents. That's what she was saying.
She went out of her way to call you to say all this, all this mean stuff. Wow.
Yes.
Were you in the car with somebody else?
Yes, I was in the passenger seat, and one of my friends were in the driver's seat.
I see.
So they had no clue. So I was talking to my mom on the phone while she's telling me all this, which, mind you, I'm already feeling suicidal anyway and depressed because of the hard life I had already.
Right.
So as soon as she said, you're not my son, that's when I just threw the phone out the window and said, F this, and opened the car and jumped out as soon as my friend turned the corner.
Wow. How fast do you think you were going at the time you jumped?
I was asked that question before, and I have no clue. I mean, my mind, I'm sure it wasn't going slow, I'm going to tell you that. But, I really wouldn't know the speed, maybe about 40 miles, I'm guessing. I'm not sure. My mind was in a completely different state. I wasn't concerned about how fast the car was going.
Of course. So how did you land? I mean, did you hit your head, or what happened to you?
My face, the front of my face was kind of messed up. So I don't know how that happened, but all I remember was hitting the back of my head on the concrete. I do remember that very vaguely. And I just heard this boom that hit the back of my head. And that's when I said, oh, that hurt. That's when my NDE started.
Wow. Well, tell us the what you saw in your NDE.
Okay, well, basically what ended up happening, I felt like I was yanking myself out of my body. And there was something that was telling me, like, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't try to get up. So I'm like, So knowing me, I'm just a hardhead. So I was like, I want to get up anyway. I'm just going to get up and go walk home because I thought I was in my body. I wasn't. I ended up trying to walk, and then next thing you know, it's like this big dark void. Then I hear from God. That's when God's telling me, like, the first thing, because I had a bunch of questions in my mind, and God, our source, whatever you want to call it, it answered all my questions, like, that I had before I asked. So the way he introduced himself to me was, I am God. Yes, I am real. Yes, angels are real. They're a gift from me. You want to meet them? And I was like, no, I don't want to meet them. And, because I didn't believe in angels at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, I didn't see God's face. I didn't see him. It's just I felt him. That presence is there, and you hear him. So you know it's God. And, so after that, he's just telling me that he loves me, and I felt like I didn't deserve to be in his presence. So he's telling me, I deserve to be there. Everybody loves everybody. And basically it seemed so easy that it was unbelievable. Like I knew if I went back and told Christian people this, they would say, oh, you met a demon, But so after that, he was telling me that, one thing I asked him, I said, can you please tell me how am I supposed to describe you when I go back? When people ask about you, how do I, describe you? So he just gives me, I felt him like get on his knee and then get down to my level and then gives me this big hug. I felt it. Then after that, he says, tell everyone that I love them. So I'm like, wow, that's what you want me to explain you? Like, and he's just like, yeah, okay. So.
Well, now, was your physical body unconscious while this was happening? Were you having an out-of-body experience?
I was completely out of my body at this point.
Okay, but you didn't see God.
No,
you just
because
felt his presence.
See, God knows you, and so he knew if I would have seen his face, it would have been way too much. It's too powerful.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have survived it. That's why. But he came.
Was there a sense of light around you? Did you feel any kind of environmental stuff like a bright light is what some people
at this
describe
point?
it
No, at this point I just felt I felt like light, like on my feet, like my body felt light. So then, and I just knew I just seen cloud, like this white clouds. That's where we were in, like cloud. So then next thing you know, a second later, boom, there I am looking at my angels, my guardian angels. Now these I seen face to face. I actually seen them just like I look at anything else. And it freaked me out at first, and they had to calm me down. And they were like, it's okay, we're your angels, it's okay, calm down. And that's when they just told me, you got a lot to do for so many people. And they told me that the world's going to change a lot. They told me a lot of things. They told me that, God loves us. A lot of people don't think so. And then they told me to look down at my body. So I did. I looked down. And they said, no, really look. So I looked, and there was a paramedics all over my body trying to resuscitate me. So I was like, oh, this stuff really does happen.
Now, did you see the angels, or did you just, like God, did you just feel their presence somehow?
No, I seen them. They had both of them had like one of their arms around each side of my arm. Like one of them was on each side. So I actually seen them, and they were big. They were huge.
Did they look like, our ordinary descriptions of angels that have wings and that sort of thing?
Wings, yes. They reminded me of a human version with wings. Or should I say the one on my right side? That's what he was more human than anything. But he had like these huge wings, a red flannel shirt rolled up to it with the sleeves rolled up to his elbows, and then like blue jeans on. And I looked and I seen his wings were huge, like this grayish color. And it was, I say his height was maybe like 6 to 9 feet tall. Wow. And the wings were maybe about 5 to 6 feet. I remember and he was really huge, like really muscular. So I thought, he reminded me like of a construction worker. And I was like, wow, if you put one foot on the ground, then it'll destroy like half my city. Like they're that powerful. And the one on my left side was kind of mean, and he was more of like a kind of a creature with wings. He wasn't exactly human. And it was just like a creature with wings. And then he was like really frustrated with me because I tried to kill myself. So he looks at me. He's all like, "Are you sure you want to go?" Like in a stern way. And then he's like, then one on my right side, that's when the one on my right started telling me I got so much to do for so many people. And I didn't know what that meant at that time. But that was the key thing that I heard, is you had so much to do for so many people.
It sounds almost like our guardian angels play good cop, bad cop. But the guy on your right was much more sympathetic to your situation, while the guy on your left was criticizing you.
Yeah, I paid more attention to the one on my right because he was like more patient with me and nice. I thought the one on my left was going to kill me because they look scary. They really do. But they're filled with so much love. They both have patience with me.
Yeah. Now the one on your left, was he as big as the one on your right?
Bigger. I think honestly he was bigger.
Wow.
Bigger.
Interesting.
Yeah, more powerful, more bigger, but he was so goofy. Like it's like I didn't know angels can be like that. Like they can make you laugh.
Did they make you laugh?
Well, that day, no. But I've had a good relationship with them after that day.
How have you experienced them after that date? I mean, have they appeared to you, or is it just something that you sense?
They talk to me all the time. I don't see them. Only reason is because I don't want to see them until, I actually go for real this time. So I told them I don't want to see their faces until I see them, like, till I leave this earth again. And they respect that. And also I told them that I'd rather not know their names until I see them again. And they respected that. But they talk to me all the time. They teach me things. They're always talking to you.
Do they give you any idea of the future, what might happen in the future?
Yes, they do. Yeah, they do. But it's funny because it's not about things you think. It's more about, like, the government, like stuff that's going to happen with the world. And they kind of show me things that other countries are going through.
What's going to happen with our country?
A bunch of turmoil, I'll tell you that. It's there's a bunch of rumors going on. I shouldn't even speak on it, but there's a bunch of rumors going on about how they think that FEMA camps are going to be here and all that stuff. And I asked them if that's true, show me, and they showed me it's real. It's real. There's some states that have all these caskets around there for no reason. Now, mind you, I know it's my angels telling me this because they told me if I want them to teach me to be like them, to clear my mind of everything I have ever known. So I did. And that's one of the things that they showed me. Like, they'll lead me to watch certain videos or to read certain things in the news, and I'm like, wow, so this stuff is really true.
And they still think that you can be of help to the world or to individuals?
Because there's
even with all this chaos coming.
The reason, and I don't want to say this like to categorize like NDE people or like, should I say NDEers or like spiritual people, it's just that there's a lot of people, and especially now during this transformation age, there's a lot of people that are starting to be enlightened. There's a lot of people that are starting to kind of see the light now. And there's a lot of people that are going to need help with spirituality, like when times get real bad and everybody that has the best jobs now and everybody that's in good positions now, there's going to be a lot of people that are really down on their luck in the future. And the only help they're going to be able to get is from spiritual people. Like their spirituality is going to be like all they have. So they're going to be leaning towards the spiritual people, the ones that don't really fear death, or the ones that actually been to the other side and came back. It's something about somebody like that changes their thinking versus someone who doesn't believe in any of that at all.
Right. Now, I've had, I talk to a lot of people who've had near-death experience, especially as a chaplain and at the hospital. There are so many in this country. They've done surveys. They say maybe 770 people a day just in the U.S. can have near-death experiences. And I think of it sort of like God's seminary, that those people are being trained to be spiritual leaders. Right. Do you get any feedback from your angels that this is something that could happen, that the NDEers of the world could get together and really start to make a change for the better?
Definitely. Oh, yeah.
And how are we going to do that? What's the mechanism for doing that?
I don't know. That's the thing. I have certain questions. I want to know everything now, and my angels know me. I want to know everything right now, but they tell me to just relax. Let's just take this thing slow. Let's take this step by step, day by day, and when the time comes, the right people will be equipped to help. The people that they're supposed to help. And because there's a lot of people that are spiritually dead out there, and they don't have any hope, or they don't know what to believe. They don't know what's going to happen, and they're not really at peace. And that's what I guess that's what a lot of the spiritual / NDEers are supposed to. The people, because see, NDEers are looked at by religious people as like scum. They don't believe anything we say because we're not religious. And most people that have NDE, they change their religion, or they just don't believe in religion at all after their NDE. And they just believe in the universal love that religion shuns.
Yeah. Well, religions tend to want to be authoritarian and exclusive, so that Christians say, well, Christianity is the only way, or yes. Muslims say, that's the only way. And
I've been to churches that told me Catholic churches were wrong.
Well, I think that exclusivity of religions is wrong. I mean, we should all be recognizing that God is love and acting that way.
But you know what most religions do? They give all credit to Satan, the evil one. That's what they concentrate more on. They don't give God enough credit.
Oh, they think there's more evil in the world than good?
Yes, the churches I've been to, I've even been to Pentecostal Christian churches, and there's the same people telling me not to talk to certain people, to shake the girl's hand because giving a hug is too sexual, but yet the same pastor is sleeping with one of the members of the chairman board or whatever you call it, and it's like they get caught. And this happened a few times at that church, but these are the same people that are condemning me to hell, saying that I'm going to burn, and let me pray for you. Do you think I want them to pray for me?
Yeah. Well, Jesus saw the same hypocrisy amongst the priests of the temple. He was always criticizing them as being hypocrites. Yeah. And I guess that problem is still going on.
It is.
Well, how soon are these FEMA camps and all of this oppression going to come about?
You know what? To be honest with you, it's a lot sooner than we think, and it's already starting to happen right now. Like, a lot of the military are even starting to practice their like when people are running up the hills and all that stuff. There are certain militaries way out there in the hills, in the mountains and stuff, that are practicing like shooting and practicing for when all the tanks are coming in. They're already doing that now. You can go on Google and find that. I don't really talk about it much because, like, I do YouTube videos about stuff that, like, I learned from my angels and all that, because there's so much stuff my angels tell me I can't keep it in or else I'll go crazy. So I do YouTube videos. And,
tell us how people could access your YouTube videos.
Well, they could go when they go on YouTube, just go on No Bad. That's one word. No Bad.
Okay. N-O-B-A-D.
Yeah, N-O-B.
I know that. Yeah, A-D.
And then the second word is like space. Then the second word is Vibes TV. V-I-B-E-S TV. So it's No Bad Vibes TV.
And how many viewers are you getting? Do you get a count of how many people are watching?
I just started 4 months ago with my story, that, getting out my story. And so now I'm at like 35 subscribers. I actually have my full near-death experience on there. That one has about 4,200 something views. That's like the best. That's like the most views though. It's like 4,000 something.
Well, that's people are very interested in near-death experience.
Yeah.
And it's not only the people that have had an experience themselves. It's also people who may not have any particular religion to, no church to go to on Sunday, but they feel there's a powerful spiritual presence in their lives, and they just want to know more about it. And so we get a lot of people looking up NDEs.
Yeah. I was going to say one more thing.
Yes.
I have a Facebook that I kind of talk about things like spiritual things that my angels tell me too. My link to my YouTube is on my Facebook page too.
So would they just look up? Would they look up No Bad again, or would they look up your name?
Well, on Facebook, they would just put Chris space NDE. That's it.
Okay.
So it's just Chris NDE. That's honestly the best way to get a hold of me is Facebook. Because then they can message me and ask me questions, and I can answer.
So if there's somebody listening right now who has been thinking about killing themselves, what would you say to them?
Don't. There's a whole nother side. No, first of all, I would say this. Please listen to me, because I know how the mind of a suicidal person works, because I was that person. So I'm telling whoever's listening to this who may be suicidal, it's not worth it. There's a whole new world out there. All you got to do is change your perception of it. Be grateful for certain things. Things will get better. I promise you they will. Oh, and you are definitely loved. There's angels out there that are with you, so you're loved. There's no need to give up.
And it sounds like we all have
to love yourself. A lot of suicidal people think if they love themselves, they'll be like too arrogant or something. But no, it's okay to love yourself. You're supposed to.
And we both, and we all have our own guardian angels who are concerned and for our well-being and love us too. Yeah.
Yes.
Chris, this has been very, very good. I thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me on the show, man.
Okay. Well, my thanks to Chris Batts for sharing his story and for his desire to help other young people who may be considering suicide. If any of the listeners would like to hear the show again or any of our past shows, just go to nderadio.org and click on the past shows button. And for more information on IANDS and near-death experience, go to their website at IANDS.org. And join us again next Monday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, for more NDE Radio. This is Lee Witting saying thanks for listening.